It's time to duel. It's game one, round three, YCS Orlando 2025. It's time to duel. Yeah, when we were looking through the pairings and we saw David Keener's name, we were like, that's a name I haven't seen in a while. I'd like to see what he's working with. So here comes the die roll that isn't as important as it usually is.
Now we talked about.
Did you say he'll start? Maybe Francisco's choosing to go first? Or I didn't quite hear it. That would be quite interesting. No, it looks like Keener is going first, and we are going to start with a Perulia.
That is one of the strongest ones going into the Ryziel strategy. But there is a call by the grave.
You love to see it. If he didn't have that call by the grave, Francisco would have been able to draw a card every time David Keener summoned a monster from his hand, but called by huge here.
All right, it's going to be a normal summon of Ice Ryziel, ideal start for the Ryziel Fiendsmith strategy. There doesn't seem to be a full house chain, so now it looks like David's off to the races here.
And we're seeing the classic way to get 3 Ryziel monsters onto the field. Ice Ryziel into X Ryziel. X Ryziel is going to add Sword Ryziel to the hand.
I imagine these two are going to be overlaid for the Evil Swarm Exciton Knight.
Evil Swarm Exciton.
There he is.
That's a light fiend.
Yes.
Now we're going to be able to see him bridge into the Fiendsmith portion of the deck.
You know, I mentioned this earlier to other people when talking about, using bridges.
Are you keeping secrets?
No. But doesn't it feel somehow worse, even though it's the exact same thing, between going from Close Goddess into Requiem versus an Exciton Requiem, because you're just putting so many more cards into the graveyard at once.
It does feel.
It does feel slightly worse.
It does, but at least you're getting a rank 4 in there, which might be useful potentially to enable some of your cards in the future. Who knows? But the Lacrima is coming down from the Requiem, and Lacrima of the Crimson Tears will send Fiendsmith Engraver to the graveyard. The amount of times I've said Engraver and Graveyard in the same sentence, insurmountable, uncountable. But I love it. And now the next step in his combo is going to be equip Requiem to that Lacrima.
Return Exciton.
Yep, the Exciton's going back in the extra deck for the effective Engraver here. Now, potentially going to be threatening anything before the Contact Fusion into the Necroquip Princess because the Requiem is equipped.
Gotcha, yeah.
Or we'll see if David opts to Link instead. But nope, it looks like we are going to be fusing into the Necroquip.
This looks like he might be going for a DDD High Wave King Caesar summon here. You get 2 level 6 monsters on the field. You can overlay those for rank 6. This will negate any card effect that special summons a monster. Good way to play around Nibiru, the Primal Being. One of the benefits, including the Fiendsmith package into your deck.
Sure.
Yep, that was the Nibiru check at this point, so now you're safe to continue forward. And because there are Ryziel cards somewhere, you can special summon that sword.
Yeah, that just have to be around the graveyard field. And now Sword will be able to add. So he goes for X. Yep. Still hasn't summoned X from the hand.
Now he's finally locked into the level 4 rank 4s, but I don't think it really matters anymore.
Yep, he's got what he needs on the field in that DDD High Wave King Caesar. All right, let's see what he decides to go to next. Looking at his options, checking the graveyard, checking the extra deck, seeing where he can navigate.
Now, important to mention, did we actually see Keener win the roll, or does he know that his opponent is potentially playing Tenpai?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It looked like he lost the roll to me, but that would definitely give an indication to what his opponent's playing if his opponent let him go first.
All right, we're sending the Aggregator here instead of the Eclipse Twins, so potentially accessing it later down the line.
Might just be going straight into Detonator, but I would imagine he still want to go into Duo Drive. But he could be. Yep, Duo Drive.
Duo Drive effective attach? Sure.
And it resolves. Only the Perillia as a form of interaction from Francisco's side.
He hasn't activated the main effect of it yet. He's only attached to Ryziel, so it looks like he is actually going to be able to resolve that other part. You are right. Hootenanny indeed. Able to do anything he wants here.
Yep, only the Perillia. And then the classic Node and Ryziel Cross going to the hand.
Now, I wouldn't count out Tenpai just yet. Usually, if you've only seen this many interruptions from the hand, that means there's a lot of board breakers sitting in there.
Cross? Cross effects.
Looks like we're going to be getting a draw here.
X and Ice to put back to draw.
Going to be recycling the X and the Ice. A little bit surprising because I feel like typically you want to recycle the sword. Usually there is only 1 copy in the deck, but maybe
lesser copies a minimum.
Yeah.
But it is also like the least desirable to have. So. All right, draws 1 card. Not a bad card if there's anything from Francisco at some point in this turn, but chances are there won't be.
Oh, there's a note as well. I mean,
note
keeping the
effect
sword
is
engrave
summon
makes it
from
so you're less
graveyard,
susceptible to
take
bestials, but I
target
mean, you
sword.
do already have access to High Caesar. Getting rid of the Fuelos now to summon back that sword from the graveyard.
Yep, Node lets you send a card to special summon back a level 4, and now you can overlay for Raziel Detonator or Eclipse Twins. We'll see which one he goes with.
Overlay for detonator.
Yeah, there's a detonator.
effective attach?
Going to be able to attach that aggregator that he sent early in the turn, so now if he detaches aggregator during Francisco's turn, he'll not only be able to destroy a card in the field, afterwards the aggregator will negate a face-up card on the field, so he has some layered interruption. He has the Caesar, but if there's a deck that can break a board, it's going to be Tempai Dragon.
So this is pretty typical if you're only playing an individual copy of Eclipse Twins. You're choosing to save it to resolve with X on a following turn so that you can immediately summon back a detonator as part of the play.
Ooh, I like that. I like the sound of that, but now play is to Francisco. He only used that one interaction from the hand, so he's going to be drawing to 5 cards in hand. Plenty to work with here. Lightning Storm.
That's okay. That's a good way to start.
It's at least going to take care of the spell trap if he chooses.
Yeah, I mean, I think both
Yep.
answers are very reasonable here.
gets the
You can
first
get
one,
rid of the
right?
Caesar as well as, you know, getting rid of one material from the detonator, or you can go ahead and get rid of the cross as well as the other set here, being an infinite impermanence.
Seems like a good choice.
Didn't see any chains here. You would like to see something along the lines of Forbidden Droplet, but now we have a copy of Kashtira Fenrir. This will be very powerful into the detonator.
Is it?
Eventually.
No, eventually it could help. It can help out. It's better than nothing, that's for sure.
But the cross off the field, I think it works pretty well.
Yeah.
To add.
So he's going to use the effect here to add, it looks like. Because he just can add another copy of Kashtira Fenrir, so if he gets destroyed, he can just summon another one.
I think it's a fine use of the card at
Not
this
bad.
point.
Yep. Detonator will destroy it. The effect will still resolve.
It's just one free material used. Now there's only 2 more detonator uses, but there still is that High Caesar that we have to deal with.
Yep. The Highway King Caesar can only stop effects that special summon, not the summons that are just happen, like Extra Zeal or Kashtira Fenrir.
Let's see how he wants to continue this turn. I imagine, oh, no, it was just bait to activate the thrust here.
Whoa! Francisco showing why he brought Tempai Dragon. Now he's going to be able to add any spell or trap card from his deck to his hand. What is he going to go for? Triple Tactics Talent?
It has to, I feel it's going to be Ultimate Slayer. It's Ultimate Slayer!
Main deck copies of Ultimate Slayer. We've seen it in people's side deck, but
Yeah,
if you're choosing to go second, it is a really good card to have.
I mean, you know the field is going to be majority of Ryzeal, right? If you're playing the Tenpai strategy, you have to just build so much of your deck to be able to combat this matchup.
Yeah, if he has Aggregator, he'll be able to return the Detonator and negate the Caesar all with one
Aggregator.
Swift card.
A nice little 3-piece combo here that had destroyed the entire field, and now all he needs is a little bit of Tenpai to get going.
Does he have the Tempai Dragon Pydra?
Yeah.
Or a Sangan Summoning, or a Sangan Kaiman? There's a lot of different cards he can have in his hand here.
At the very least, the Fenrir can do a lot, right?
Yeah, he's already in good shape no matter what.
I mean, there's still Fiendsmith cards in Davy
But he'll
King's
be able to
graveyard. He
take
does not
out-
want to turn.
Yeah, he'll still be able to take out the Duo Drive and the Caesar with the Fenrir.
Summon it that way twice per turn.
Oh, yes, he can.
I know you were kind of joking about it before the match started, but David Keener, Fire Dragons,
Yeah.
Blaster, Dragon Ruler Infernos,
Will he be
Shades-
defeated by a Fire Dragon once more?
Shades of 2013.
Don't want to give him flashbacks so early.
Blaster was the key card in that loss. So I have seen people use like Blaster and like Gold Stark and stuff in Tempai Dragon as another way to access your Fire Dragons from the deck.
Yeah, now that Chandra's at 1, you definitely want to have more accessibility into it. Oh, but there is the Kaiman.
It's at 1, but as long as it's at 1, it still means you can draw that one copy.
Now, I didn't actually get to see, are we in the battle phase already, or is he using it in the main phase?
I don't know. We're going to have to see here. I'm assuming it's battle, because battle phase you get to summon it from your hand. But if he doesn't have another normal summon, you can still do it during your main phase. Not a big deal.
There's a world he just wants to go for Pydra here, because he knows likely that there isn't another copy. Well, Infinite Impermanence is off the table now. He was already hit the one that's on the field, so it's only potentially an effect failure. You're not super worried about it. Looks like we're going to be adding the Genroku, which, I mean, if the Kaiman is your only way to play with Tenpai cards, this is what you have to do, especially when there's a face of attack position monsters on your opponent's side field. You need an additional level 3 in the graveyard, so you can use the Genroku into the Chandra so that you could Fadra it back.
Indeed. So here comes the Genroku. He's going to use the effect, probably tribute it off the field.
Okay, yeah,
so
we
we
can
attack.
Yeah,
Or in the
you
battle.
also want to be able to activate it in the battle phase as well to play around something along the lines of effect failure. So yeah, you're just going to be declaring an attack here and then chaining its effect to tribute itself. Special summon from the deck.
Yeah, I think in preparation for this tournament, I think Tempai Dragon is a deck a lot of people wouldn't have practiced against, because if people are playing it, it's probably a very few numbers, so the chances of you running into it are small, but you could still run into it here, as we're seeing in round number 3. So 1 attack, and now he's tributing it off to special summon a Tempai Dragon from the deck. Probably Chandra. Yep.
Yeah, it has to be Chandra here. There's the Chandra. Chandra is going to declare an attack on something. Doesn't really matter. It's going to be able to use its effect to bring back the Fadra.
Finrier's going to clean up the field first.
Oh, that's true. You might as well get the damage in as long as it's able to actually clear both bodies.
Yep, going to take down the duo drive, banish the High Wave King Caesar. I mean, Ultimate Slayer, what a good card.
The Fenrir can only trade with one of them, right? Because how many
Yeah, my
Duo Drive
guys
is
gain
25
plus
and the
100
Fenrir is
for
24.
right.
And also their monsters lose 100 attack because of the...
True.
every material on it.
So he can only get rid of one of them.
You're right.
Yeah.
But probably not going to slow him down too much.
Yeah, it looks like he will just opt to get rid of the Duo Drive, potentially. Oh, no, I'm going to get rid of the Caesar here.
Pretty much still bad. Just up here. Yep.
And then the Fenrir crashes, I believe. Oh yeah, because the monster is declaring.
So Chandra's going to special summon a Tempai Dragon from the deck. Tempai Dragon doing Tempai Dragon things.
So I'm assuming that you're doing a replay, and are you
Yeah, I
still-
declared the attack on duo drive, and then I banished the thing.
They both get to activate in the same attack declaration window, or well,
No, I think
oh no,
Chandra's
Chandra's in the damage step. Of
Yeah.
course, yeah, Chandra's at the start of the damage step. What am I thinking? There's a reason you can't interact with these cards.
But the Fadra will protect his monsters.
He still takes the damage though.
But you still take
The
the
damage.
damage. Classic line from the Yu-Gi-Oh animes.
Yeah, so it's 23, I'm 26, so 300.
Yep. He'll take the measly 300 points of damage here to potentially end the game at this moment. The Fadra 100 summon is going to be able to summon back that Genroku, which is now a level 3 non-tuner when it comes back. If he chooses to use it right now, he might not.
Just got to get to a 3rd attack.
And this declaration will do it.
So still taking the damage. It's going to be the 3rd attack,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
my
going
26,
to
so
unlock the synchro effects.
He doesn't necessarily have to take the damage. He could just... well, no, the synchro effect is always available, but like the three attacks is the threshold to bring the synchro monsters back from the
Yeah,
graveyard.
that's what I mean by the synchro
Yes,
monsters
yes, yes,
effects.
yes,
Yes. Yes. It's not what David Keener's thinking right now. He's probably thinking, "Oh no, oh no."
This is a disaster.
I'm pretty sure when the Ultimate Slayer came down, he knew he was in trouble. But I loved the Fenrir just forcing out the detonator. Like, why would you not detonate the Fenrir? Because if you don't, it's just, why would you not? And then, yep, Synchro Summon for a level 7.
Likely chain the effect to synchro summon to the attack, so you don't have to take any damage there. Going to bring back the Fadra, just for good measure.
Fransico really contemplating his plays here.
He still has to find the remainder of the damage from this point.
Yeah, he doesn't have the easy access with like Sing and Summoning and Trident Dragon doing a ton of damage, but he definitely has plenty of Synchro Summons still going on.
So
The
yeah.
Biden can still come back from the graveyard.
Okay, yeah, so he's opting to actually bring back Chandra here for more damage. So now he can crash the... oh no, the Biden will still be 100 smaller than the Duo Drive, right?
26 to 25. My guy's plus 100.
So he could declare an attack with it if he wants to, but there's not really a reason for it. He can...
But we're definitely seeing like the limitations to Tempai Dragon coming into play. You're not always going to have Sangan Summoning. You're not always going to have the easy access to put enough damage out through an open board as easily as you would be previously to the last Forbidden and Limited List update.
Yeah, with just Kaiman, that is honestly one of the weaker ways to start with the Tempai. It's not that much damage available, as we can see here. I don't think he's actually going to be able to finish this game with what's available.
He might. If there's a way you can go to Trident Dragon into a clear board and still just destroy 2 cards, that would be enough.
Yeah, so he can go ahead
Yeah.
and synchro for potentially Trident right now.
He's got to be careful. You don't want to play too slow at this stage in the game. But yeah, here
He's going for the Trident here.
it's an ultimate rare. It looks nice, and it attacks thrice potentially. Only probably gonna be twice.
Probably twice
Yeah,
right now,
probably
yeah.
twice here.
So
I
he
just
can,
had to rhyme. I couldn't stop myself.
yeah, he can get rid of his Chandra.
Sure.
And
So
now
he has 2 attacks with Trident Dragion.
the first one will do. So he goes to 29 and 26. So you take 300.
300?
So now they're at even.
Yep.
And then it can hit one more time for 3,000. And then there's still 26 in the graveyard from the Bident. Not quite enough here.
Okay, gotcha.
You can still summon back
Attack again.
3,000? Yep.
the other synchro.
Yeah, he will likely choose to do so just so he can have 2 dragons on the field after and at least end on a hieratic seal.
May I read this item?
Not too bad. Was able to clear the board pretty easily.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you're wondering,
let's
like,
check.
you're
Okay,
struggling
then
against
I'll just-
Raziel and wondering what are some side deck cards or maybe some cards you can potentially main deck, Ultimate Slayer is one you're going to want to look at.
Ultimate Slayer is definitely going to be one of the more popular cards for the weekend because of how popular not only Raziel but Eclipse Twins. Making sure that Detonator goes back into the extra deck instead of the graveyard is going to be a key way of combating the strategy.
It's huge. Huge. Very huge.
Yeah, when you go to your main phase 2, the start of your main, I'm going to activate Fiendsmith.
He
Oh,
does
yeah.
still have some defense in that graveyard.
Can't forget about the Lacrima.
Yeah. Yeah. So shuffles
Yeah,
back in.
Lacrima's not main phase only. Requiem.
And then
Wait, is Lacrima main phase only? It is, right? Yeah,
Lacrima's
he's
main
doing,
phase only,
yeah, he's
yeah.
doing this main phase too.
Yeah, he said at the start of main phase 2
Yeah,
he wanted
okay.
to do this, which technically I do believe.
I get first action.
Yeah, he gets first action in the main phase
so this
as
is-
player
this is
priority.
this is the end of his battle phase.
Okay, so
Well, yes.
Okay, a little confusion on the timing of this Lacrima activation, but either way, it's all the same result.
I mean, if he's going to be linking away into hieratic seal,
Okay, so Keener not out of it just yet, showing the resilience of the Fiendsmith cards. He's going to be able to use this Requiem to summon out a Fiendsmith monster. The cool thing about using Requiem during your opponent's turn is that if you somehow summon a Requiem back, you can use it 2 in one turn because you're only limited in summoning Requiem once per turn. But he's going to be using it during his opponent's turn, so that won't be the case here. But it's something to note if you are using this deck. You saw a lot of players do that at YCS Anaheim not too long ago.
yeah, definitely getting all the value. Those like neat little interactions, right, that you don't normally think about. And we're going to be sending the Fiendsmith in Paradise to set up a potential send of the Desiree from the extra deck as soon as Francisco summons a monster, but unfortunately will not be able to use it on the seal because Francisco did have first action in
all
the
good.
main phase.
Draw phase? Standby phase? Main phase.
So the turn has gone back to David here. He still has access to some Fiendsmith lines, but how much potential for the Raziel part of his deck does he have?
Normal summon Ice Raziel.
Okay, well that's a pretty good one.
That's a good one. Ice Raziel will let him special summon a level 4 Raziel from the deck. Is there any response here from Francisco? Going to chain that Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres.
And then Chain Fua,
the
okay.
that's the classic combo. Being able to use those 2 cards together, even though you're going to have a monster come out, but your field is open, so you're able to use that Fualas from the hand.
6-card Fua, you know, has to do a lot for you. Going to be putting the Lacrima back in the hand here. The ice is going to resolve first. Going to be able to special summon out likely maybe another copy of Sword? Nope, just a copy of X.
Orientation again, yes.
You chain, activate Access Search.
Yeah, X Chain Link 1, and then he has, or I suppose no, Chain Link 1 would still have to be Seals because
Oh,
it's mandatory.
sure.
Yeah. So Seals Chain Link 1, X Chain Link 2.
Mandatory effects go on the chain first, followed by optional trigger effects.
We're going to grab that sword here. See, this is why I I wasn't certain that he was going to go this route. I thought he might want to potentially get the X to his hand so that he can have potentially another aggregator to go into the field. But he did use aggregator on his turn 1, so there's likely not a second one, so this makes sense. And we're going to be hitting a Bestial Magnum here. That is not going to be doing nearly enough to stop David, but it gives him a lot of follow-up, being able to summon back that Genroku from the graveyard even, or just getting the Fadra back to hand if you only play one of them.
Certainly could be the case here. Magnum, a strong card in Tenpai Dragon.
Strong card, period, I'd say.
Yeah, just in general, but extra strong Tenpai Dragon because you really only need one dragon to really get everything going. But because of that Magnum, Keener will be looking to try and win the game right here, right now.
I mean, you never want to give Tenpai another turn. It's going to be a little bit tricky because he does have to remember that Biden Dragon is in the graveyard still, so as long as 3 attacks were declared that turn, he can summon himself back.
Returning, I'm sorry, Engraver, returning Requiem.
All right, Fiend's in the Graver is going to summon back to the field.
Sword.
Confirming that there is a sword in the hand off the effect of the X. David has to maneuver this turn, trying to play into the least amount of interactions from Fransico, while also trying to give him the minimum amount of cards for the Fualos, but still has to find the remaining points of damage.
Looking at 4 cards in hand.
Has not used any of the effects from the hand yet, so not restricted into level or rank 4s. Potentially can go into Chaos Angel, but no, we're going to be special summoning the sword, so now he will be locked into the 4s.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to try and get Abyss Dweller onto the field. It would be cool if we got to see Eclipse Twin's first effect, where he could make like a rank 4 attack twice, right? That could come up.
I mean, yeah, it just might, because you can make the Detonator attack twice, and that's already a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
And once you've already used the Dweller, you don't really need it anymore, so you can just convert it to a level 4 body for the Eclipse Twins.
Love to see if that is where David decides to navigate this play. Fransico, all Fransico can do is sit back, hope he draws into something with his Fualos, or...
I wonder if he was just meant to use the Fiendsmith in Paradise on the summon of the Magnum.
Summon Detonator.
True.
But maybe he just wants to keep Fransico away from being able to use any Infinite Impermanence drawn.
There's a lot of options. That's what's so cool about Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. You got to really consider so many different things.
All right, already have the Detonator online.
Talents to your guy.
Oh, okay, that'll do it.
Just going to take the Magnum. It is 0-0 stats thanks to the Heraldic Seal.
Good phase.
Yeah, but like, there's already been some damage done. So
1500?
that's 36, and another 3K. If he's at 65, that is enough.
Doesn't even need the Dweller if we can get enough damage across.
But here's the thing. On the 3rd attack declaration, he can summon back the Biden, right? But then you still have the Fiendsmith in Paradise.
But then the Biden summons on summon also, right?
No, it's only with Synchro
Summon.
Summons.
Okay,
Only with
only
Synchro
on
Summon.
Synchro Summon. Okay. Then no worries there on that.
All right, David able to squeak it through, winning on his second turn, surviving an attack phase from Tenpai, and going to be able to take game number 1.
Yeah, he definitely probably felt like he was in better shape. Felt very scared, I'd imagine, during that turn 2, but able to keep things under control and bounce back and win the game. But man, yeah, things were looking dicey for him there. I wonder if Fransico, I mean, we saw him like considering his options for such a long time during his battle phase, because he realized he wasn't going to be able to finish him off. I wonder if there's just like another way to be able to summon the other like Transcendent Dragon and then Trident Dragon afterwards potentially, but I don't know if there would.
He did not have enough bodies to do it. Like the main issue is
there was
because
no Hydra.
Yeah, like the issue with starting with Kaiman is that you have to go through the Genroku to have 3 bodies, and the Genroku does not have the quick effect to Synchro Summon. So if you do happen to summon it back, do not have enough ways to summon after the fact.
But is there not like a way, like in main phase 1, singing Kaiman for Pydra, normal summon Pydra, add Genroku, special Genroku, like just get an extra body?
Yeah, the way you would have to do it in that scenario is you would have to risk him having more interruptions. You Kaiman for Pydra, Pydra for Sangan Summoning for Chandra, and then go that way.
There you go, yeah. And I knew there had to be a way, because he didn't use his normal summon in that turn, but you have to balance whether you want to play into things like Nibiru, the Primal Being, or not as well. And he probably felt like he was strong enough playing around that, but it'll be something he wants to consider going into game 2.
The main punish would have been Effect Veiler. I think that's like the reason to do the way that he did. But if he like thought it through and realized he did not have enough damage, then I think he had to go for the Pydra line. But I mean, the damage is done. He definitely had, both players had formidable hands there. Fransico having the tools to defeat everything that David put up. But it was just getting that last bit of damage there. Unfortunately, you can't let Fiendsmith Ryziel have another turn.
Yeah, no, the follow-up is too strong, and we saw it there. He had the ice in hand, ready to go, alongside the Fiendsmith cards, and was easily able to take that first game. I mean, what really came down is that damage he took from attacking into, the monsters, too. It lowered his life points just enough where David Keener didn't have to do too much extra summoning, didn't have to worry about something like Abyss Dweller like we were talking about. But no, going into game number 2, I mean, this is when things would usually be worse for Tenpai Dragon because the players will know they're playing against it and they have their side decks prepared. But not one of the top contenders this weekend. I don't know how many people have cards in their side deck for this specific matchup.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of respect for Tenpai explicitly. But unfortunately, there is a lot of crossover with something along the lines of Dimensional Barrier, which people are playing for Ryziel anyway. So it's a little rough. I mean, that was, again, another reason why Tenpai wasn't super popular as soon as Ryziel came out. There was a lot of overlap.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see how it's going to play out. If Francisco is going to choose to go first to catch David Keener off guard, or if he will just allow him to go first again. I imagine with the Ultimate Slayers and stuff, you still got to let them go first. Ultimate Slayer is so good at picking apart the Ryziel board.
Yeah, I think that's, I do believe that the board breaker strategy is the one with the most merit when you're choosing Tenpai into this specific meta. But that was the benefit of being able to play those points of interaction in the hand, is where you could choose to go first and back it up with a Hieratic Seals. You can't really do that when you have all the spells that don't do anything if you go first.
Certainly the case. It looks like the duelists are shuffled up and ready to go. We are mere moments away from game 2 here of round 3. I can't believe it's only round 3 and we've already had so much exciting action. Oh, I love that banner so much, the rescue banner featuring some of my favorite cards of all time, some of my least favorite cards of all time, and some cute ones as well. And let's go ahead and jump into it. Game 2, round 3, YCS Orlando 2025. We have Fransico, who has topped NAWCQs before in the past, and David Keener, who was
really topped NAWCQs before.
He was mere moments away from winning the World Championship back in 2013, but now he wants to become a YCS champion here in 2025. And now it looks like he will be going first. Can't blame Fransico for that, and he's going to lead with Extra Zeal, sending...
Ooh, that is, a great start for Ryziel. A great start for Ryziel Mitsurugi. Not a great start for Ryziel Fiendsmith. You are not accessing the Fiendsmith part of your engine now, most likely.
Okay, that's a W here for Fransico at least. But this time choosing to send the Cliff Twins instead of the Aggregator.
Yeah, because you're going to really have to focus down on making Detonator stick, hoping that your opponent doesn't have access to something like Ultimate Slayer, or maybe you have access to something along the lines of Solemn Judgment to protect yourself from those powerful spell cards. But either way, now you're going to try to make the most potent Ryziel end board that you can.
We saw him add Node there, which means he already had access to Sword, which will grab him Ice Ryziel. Plenty of level 4s without needing to use the normal summon just yet. Now he's going for his first rank 4 Xyz summon, and that's going to be Ryziel Duo Drive. Will it resolve again? First, he's going to use the effect to attach, maybe? Maybe not. No, he doesn't. No,
There's nothing in the graveyard,
Ryziels, yeah. Detonator can attach anything. Duo Drive must attach a Ryziel, but he has Ash Blossom, and now he's going to play triple Tactics Talents and take a peek at his opponent's hand. Wow.
Wow.
Not a lot of good options here.
That is a lot of good. There's a lot of good options, unfortunately.
Too many good options. Yeah, this is not what you want to see. I think you go for the terraforming, right?
I don't know.
I guess it depends on your hand.
Yeah, okay.
If you have any sort of effect negation.
Okay, if you are able to stick a Detonator, terraforming does nothing.
You're right.
So
Detonator's really good against field spells. As a Malice player who's opened multiple Malice and Underground facing down Detonator, I understand.
It might have to.
I will take this guy.
Yep, going for Hydra.
Go Hydra. Okay, so make it so Tundra has to be normal summoned in the current situation. Fenrir doesn't necessarily do enough by itself right now. He would have to go into the battle phase to really attempt to contest the Detonator here.
Normal summon Ice.
Ice Ryziel, an incredible card coming down here. The best normal summon in the deck if I were to have to pick one, and that's going to let him special summon a level 4 Ryziel. I remember when I first read this card, I was like, wow, finally, a level 4 tour guide. This is where we come.
And then you read the rest of the cards, and they were all... They all seem so simple, but like each so individually powerful, yeah.
Very easy to access the 3 main ones.
Yeah, to the point that he doesn't have any beneficial effects to get off this IC. He's already used all of them. He has the node in his hand already.
A symptom of success for sure. Now, he's already sent the Eclipse Twins, so he won't be able to use that Duo Drive to go into an Eclipse Twins, but we saw like Duo Drive just being enormous. Not too bad against Tempai Dragon. It's kind of tough to get over, especially with stuff like Fenrir. But he doesn't have the DDD this time. Just going to go straight to Detonator, going to attach the Eclipse Twins. This provides him some extra protection.
Everything's in defense mode.
We talked about it earlier, but if you're just tuning in, why this is so good, having the Eclipse Twins under Detonator. If your opponent activates anything that would target the Detonator, like Infinite Permanence, or even something like Triple Attack Talent that would take, you can detach, destroy your own Detonator. The Eclipse Twins will bring back the Detonator and give it a material, so you can kind of dodge effect negation, targeting effect negation.
Yeah.
And choosing to play around a top deck Lightning Storm, even though Detonator is already really strong into Lightning Storm because it's able to protect itself, but now it doesn't even contest it.
Makes sense. He knows all of Francisco's card except for the random card he drew for turn. He's going to need a big one, I think.
So assuming that he's forced to play in main phase 2 even, like if you just start with the Fenrir, you're able to activate the effect, just grab another Fenrir, and then go into the battle phase and get rid of the Detonator because Cross is not on the field right now.
Yeah, the saving grace of this game is that Francisco is able to cut off the Duo Drive, so he is only having to deal with Detonator.
The thing is, if you're able to deal with the Detonator in the battle phase with Fenrir, is that enough? Because you have to leave the Duo Drive on the field. The Tundra's in your hand. You don't have access to Sang and Kaiman unless you drew it off the top here. But if you drew it off the top here, that might just end the game.
Why I did that? But yep.
I think that is the single card that would win the game here right now for Francisco is a drawn Kaiman. So we know the... Okay, so there is a normal summon of Chandra. There is a Terraforming in hand and 1 unknown card, right?
Can I read the card real quick?
Yep, just double checking, make sure you know all the effects. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
This is just for some reason. Falling effects once per turn. Control fire giants.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are not able to use Detonator on the effect of Chandra in the damage step to summon from the deck. That a damage step effect, not able to be interacted with an effect like Detonators. So we'll still be able to get decently far, but Detonator will be able to cut him off and be able to actually synchro because you can just chain to pop the other monster.
Certainly could be the case here. We'll see how this battle phase is going to play out. This is an important battle phase here for Francisco.
I'm surprised he didn't start with the Fenrir just to get rid of the Detonator.
Well, then he would have lost the Chandra, right?
Well, oh yeah, because it does chain immediately to it.
But the Chandra summoning Pydra, Pydra adding Sang and Kaiman. David not out of the woods just yet.
I added Sang and Kaiman.
Yeah, this is actually still quite strong here.
Declare attack.
So you take damage here from anything?
No,
stuff?
when Pydra's on the field, I don't take a battle damage.
Okay.
He will from the Fenrir because it's not a Fire Dragon.
Fenrir
but
attacks.
Fenrir attack.
Yep.
assuming
Fenrir
the
attacking.
Fenrir attack connects with
Detonator.
anything.
Activate the effect of Fenrir.
So Fenrir's effect will activate, targeting likely the Detonator.
Card my opponent controls. Target the Detonator.
All right.
So do you destroy Detonator and summon itself back with the Eclipse Twins here? So you don't
Clear
lose a
my
phase
attack with
down?
Fenrir.
Or do you just take out one of the
Into
Tempai
the
Dragon?
Detonator.
So in the scenario here, if you
You're
do
activating Fenrir?
And then
activate
Fenrir.
the Detonator to target, let's say Chandra, then he will chain either Chandra or Pydra, to
To
which
synchro?
you can chain the Detonator again. To which they might chain the other one, in which case you could chain the Detonator again.
And then you're activating Fenrir, targeting Detonator.
But then-
He only has 2 materials, though.
This is true.
If he had
I
3.
will chain Detonator.
But he is going to use the Detonator, but what does he target? Does he target itself?
These both have the quick synchro effect.
Yeah.
Looks like he is.
I will chain Detonator. I'm going to target this one.
Now, if he does go after the Pydra,
So I will chain the Pydra.
I will chain Detonator.
And this one should just
Targeting.
probably target itself.
I will chain the Chandra.
Yep.
all right, so at least he forces out both the synchro effects of Pydra and Chandra.
They're only once per turn per body, so when they come back, they can be used again.
Unfortunate for David Keener here.
This is really playing into the Kaiman in his hand that can just grab a Fadra and summon it back.
True. Oh, Odd Eye's Meteor Burst is going to cut off effects during the battle phase.
Resolves, yep.
It's a cool synchro monster. Love to see it.
All right, continuing battle.
I mean, yeah, so you're not going to be able to use something along the lines of Ash Blossom now because of that. To protect the Kaiman here, you're going to be able to summon the Fadra. Fadra will have to summon back out the Chandra.
Apologies. I've been continuing on with the battle phase. I forgot there is a replay, so after the replay, there'll be no more attacking. So you're not going to attack? No.
He did not continue attacking with Kashir Fenrir. Good to know.
Resolving kind of?
Yep. Yep.
Chandra is going to touch down. Chandra effect can activate to summon back a Tenpai Dragon.
Yep, Fadra will summon back Chandra, and then this is a bit of a sticky situation now.
All right.
That duo drive is sitting at 27. All his monsters are losing 200.
Did activate Chandra, the synchro effect.
Synchro effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now all the effects of all the once per turn effects of the Tenpai monsters have been used. You only have access to the synchro ones now.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Yes. Yes, you guys.
So he could go into Bident, which is still not big enough to crack over the duo drive.
Continuing on.
But Biden will bring something back, and that can go into, let's say, in this situation, the most efficient would be Trident Dragon, which would pop the other two monsters, be able to swing 3 times, and then the Biden would be able to finish it off.
Let's see if that is what Fransico decides to do here. It does seem like he might be moments away from taking game number 2, as time is winding down here, though.
Oh.
We're in main phase 2?
No, set rotation in the battle phase,
Oh.
so that you could set the Sangan summoning and destroy it with the Trident Dragon.
Oh, cool. Neat.
I mean, that'll do it for sure.
I don't think I've ever seen that, but that, I guess set rotation is like a way you can use it with Pressured Planet Race Off with the Kashir cards. Love to see it. A powerful one-of, for sure.
Used for this.
Oh, yeah.
So this game's over.
Card on time on the field. Once per card.
Oh, okay. I thought they were all hard ones. Gotcha.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Like, the plays David made really played into the Sangan Kaiman in the hand,
Yes.
but he was under the assumption that those are also hard once return effects.
Yeah, he doesn't seem as familiar with Tenpai Dragon as maybe some other strategies.
I mean, yeah, like, otherwise I don't think he would have used the initial effect of the detonator on the Fenrir, because obviously it doesn't actually interact with Fenrir well. It just, like, they can have a Fenrir in the hand, it's not going to do anything for them.
Right.
It leaves them right back in the same position, but you have 1 destruction less.
So the Trident Dragon does destroy Fenrir and the Sangan summoning, so
Yeah.
now it doubles the attack and can attack 3 times.
Which will for sure be enough. Also, the Meteor Burst is still on the field, so he can't use any monster effects in the battle phase.
So I'll concede.
And Fransico takes game number 2.
Tenpai doing its thing, a very powerful hand, even through the triple tactics talents. There was potentially a line there for David to really shut down everything that Fransico had going for him, but he needed to know exactly what that play looks like for Fransico, and sometimes when you don't have all that knowledge, you didn't come prepared enough for the matchup, you're able to squeak through because that's what Tenpai's good at. It just needs to find that window to connect.
Yeah, I mean, Tenpai Dragon's still a strong deck. Even though a lot of the cards are at 1, it is like a toolbox kind of deck, so there's lots of different ways to access it. And, like, yeah, the set rotation was really sweet there. I don't know if I've, like, I've never seen it used in the battle phase like that in a Tenpai Dragon strategy, but now with only 1 Sangan summoning, definitely seems smart to include something like that in the deck.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to see Sangan summoning as much as you can, but it's also been typical when you have access to plays with Sangan Kaiman during the battle phase that you would summon a Pydra, and Pydra will use its effect to set Sangan summoning, and you'd be able to destroy it that way, just to be able to find those lethal shots. And that is where the effect of Sangan summoning is so critical, because sometimes that's the only way to make a monster big enough to get all your hits through, because you have to waste so many attacks when they have a monster that large, something like Duo Drive, where you just don't get to actually get that damage through because you have to waste so many attacks just swinging into nothing.
Yeah, you definitely need to be able to get to Trident Dragon and double the attack for sure, because that's 18,000 points of damage. It's pretty much game over almost any field that you're facing down. But now David Keener will be the one who gets to choose who goes first. I feel like you got to let the Tenpai Dragon strategy go first, even though like there's probably a lot more cards in their side deck that they're going to be putting in that potentially help them going first. We'll have to see.
I mean, from what we've seen already, being in Francisco's deck. It's a lot of the Molcharmies. It's a lot of powerful spell cards. Some Kashtira cards as well, but I think you can play into those relatively well. We've mainly only seen Fenrir. He doesn't necessarily play any others. Because I think in most of those situations, Fenrir wouldn't have searched another copy of Fenrir. There's a good amount of chances where a copy of Unicorn would have done a good amount there.
Yeah, I think what Francisco's going to be looking to do going first is open it up with Herratic Seal, the Heavenly Seer's Path, and then use the effect when he can, and then chain one of the Molcharmies that he potentially draws, and try and find a way to navigate victory that way. Because if you're able to get to like a Heavenly Seer's and like have Fualis in your hand, that's not bad.
Yeah, definitely could be enough, but still giving you so many more potential ways to play through the game because of access to Fiendsmith cards. And you just want to be able to cut off all those spells. I think that's the biggest deal.
That's right. We're going to have to see how it plays out here in game number 3. Quick fist bump before the duel starts. And now I think we're going to see Francisco starting the game off.
Really limited amount of time on the clock here.
Yep.
Still got 5.5, more than I thought we had, but still not too bad. Normal summon Dora. That's not Snake Eye Ash. But it kind of looks like it.
Level 4 fire dragon from your
It does very similar things.
Yes. On summon, yeah, it gets to add a level 4 lower fire dragon, so you can add Genroku, which is
Yeah,
somewhat
10
like,
Dragon Poplar, yeah.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Very similar to Snake Eyes Poplar.
But that's going to be met with Hash Blossom.
That could be huge if he doesn't have another way to get another dragon on the field. He could be stopping him from getting to Herratic Seal, but he has the set rotation. That's huge.
This is going to also cut off potential infinite impermanences from other points in the turn. But I think infinite impermanence might have... Actually, no, you would save that for the Hieratic Seal, right?
I think so, yeah, to force it out.
Sangan Summoning is going to be critical here. Going to protect his monsters for the main phase.
And before Keener flips up the pressure plane and adds a Kashira monster from his deck to his hand.
Could happen.
Could happen. Unlikely, but could. Maybe in a different round. But yeah, so Sangan Summoning is going to add Genroku, and then what does he discard?
I will discard.
Now you likely will want to get rid of like some... Okay, it's going to be a Tenpai Dragon and summon out.
Yep. So he's gonna. So do you use the spheres to add back the Sangan Summoning to your hand? No, so you can resolve a Molcharmy maybe? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if you do like, I don't think that's ideal for what you want to do. Okay, we're also going to be putting the Biden in the graveyard here.
Yeah, want to fill it up, have it ready just in case you need to summon back in a defensive situation.
Can be a little tricky though because the Sangan Summoning does protect your fire dragons from monster effects or from any card effects during the main phase, but it does not protect any dragon. So the sphere mode, it's not sphere mode, sorry. The Hieratic Seal will potentially be hit with Nibiru the Primal Being now. Which, I mean, is fine.
Yeah,
you still get to summon
a
something from deck, but you lose that interaction.
Oh, but now he's the Genroku on the field too, so it looks like he might be foregoing being able to use a Molcharmy.
Yeah, at least this. The key thing is to have Vajra and Chandra on the field during your opponent's battle phase.
Battle phase or main phase? I can't.
Main phase.
Okay. It's just 10 by monsters?
Yes,
Fire
Fire
dragons.
Dragon.
Got it. Cool. Thank you.
You can tell Keener familiar with the Tenpai Dragon strategy, but not like absolutely, because yeah, if you're practicing this tournament, it's probably a deck you didn't practice against, as it got, so many limitations on that last Forbidden Limited list.
Fiendsmith Engraver?
Gonna lead off with Fiendsmith Engraver, discards it from the hand to add a Fiendsmith spell or trap from the deck to the hand. Probably gonna be looking at Fiendsmith's Tract.
Yeah, it's a great start. You want to lead with your Fiendsmith cards as much as you can. Gives you full flexibility with your Ryzeal engine.
Activate Track. Yep. Activate the effect of seals.
Oh, chaining the seals now.
Yep.
So he's gonna chain everything. Yeah, he can chain the Genroku to tribute off the field. He can return his Sangan Summoning. I think he made it.
I think the reason he's doing this is not to be able to activate an effect from hand, but I think the card he's going to summon from his deck is going to be really critical here.
Oh, yes. I didn't see this card in his side deck. Hopefully it is one that is coming out. An old favorite. An oldie but a goodie, as it were.
A problematic card even back in 2013.
It might have actually been in the decks in 2013.
Yeah.
It was actually a card people used back then as well. Hopefully we get to see it here in Game 3.
Resolve seals.
One of my favorite themes of all time If you guys can guess at home, what card could he be summoning Ospheres?
All right, so Chain Link 1 will be Hieratic Spheres, and
Activate.
because Lurie is optional for sure, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he will be able to get the Lurie here.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Lurie.
Chain Link 2.
Oh, Lurie is mandatory.
Oh, well, there we go.
Nice.
Works out for Fransico. He's going to get the Mulcharmy.
Oh,
So Fualo's being discarded too. He had so many cards on his field. Now he has none.
Genroku's installed, so let me resolve Genroku.
You're good.
he wants to summon it so bad. I love it. I want to see it. Bring
He's
it
waiting.
Out. Bring it out. No, he didn't sign it in. No.
there's no way. There's no way.
No.
He didn't sign it.
No.
Oh, he did not think he was going to go first? That's okay.
Resolve
Your
seals.
seals is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that was from the.
Oh,
no,
there it is, there it
there
is.
you go.
Okay. Yeah, you hear the crowd say, it's Quacky Miro Drago.
The way he slapped it back down in the graveyard, he knew.
I was so worried we weren't going to see it, and we're like alluding to it. I didn't want to like spoil it just in case he doesn't use it. But yeah, Quacky Miro Drago, while it's on the field, neither player can special summon lighter dark monsters.
David's been in this position before. He knows what it's like.
I remember this from when I went to Worlds back in my day.
Just make so you don't take battle damage.
David Keener was actually pretty young when he went to the World Championship, got second. I believe he might have been under 18 here even, if I remember correctly.
All right.
I don't know. Oh, Bonfire's met with Ash Blossom. Tough. Tough here for Keener. Only a minute on the clock. They got to play fast.
Can at least try to
normal
play
summon Perulia.
Yeah.
normal summon Perulia.
Battle phase.
Okay.
Attack.
He's going to attack
Okay.
over the 0/0
Zero.
Drago.
Yes.
All right.
Activating Graver.
Yes.
Return this guy.
Okay. The entire Fiendsmith engine was cut off because of the Quick Mary Drago, and we're forced in main phase 2 here.
Perulia, with the smallest amount of attack points, still able to take down the Drago.
You know, anything's better than 0.
You're right.
This guy.
Draw.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
He's
so
up
under
for walls,
Wallows.
too. Oh no! Unfortunately, this is probably going to end in a draw because nobody could do any damage.
Unless
But
there's
what a
something we
good
don't know
match.
about.
What a good match!
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he can finish his phase, so if he has something that can inflict damage,
I've seen Gaga Cowboy before.
I don't think so this time, but we'll see. Oh, overlay? Does he have it?
It's probably just going to be a duo drive.
Yeah, detonator's coming out,
Well,
but
you can't make detonator, but like it's okay.
he can't make the. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Time's called. He can make anything, and unfortunately, going to end in a draw. But like, I'm actually pretty satisfied with this one ending in a draw.
Yeah.
I think both players played really well, but it was cool to see Francisco's Tempai Dragon deck.
That was legitimately a draw. Like there was
Yeah,
no.
I think that is one of the most legit draws I've ever seen. Like neither of them deserved to lose this match.
Mm-hmm.
Like they both played well, both had some cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, seeing the Quacky Mirror Drago come down from Francisco was really sweet. I mean, it's funny that you can have all those cards on your field but still find a way to activate the Fuwalos.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the cool tricks that Tempai Dragon can do nowadays, and it's fun to see it play out that way.
I think
But-
what we saw is how intentional Francisco's deck list was. It was designed to play this matchup, and every single play made sense for this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the key part, main decking Ultimate Slayer was like fantastic. Like I'm gonna think about main decking now because like it also works against Malice pretty well in the same vein, where you're able to deal with like a Nightmare Griffin or something that's potentially locking you out of the game by just sending a Link monster. I mean, Ultimate Slayer is an all-encompassing card for anything as long as you have the right monster to send from your extra deck to deal with on the field.
Powerful, flexible removal tool, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card, and it is a great one to include in your main deck this weekend, and I'm sure we're going to see more of it in the side decks coming up. But yeah, it is a draw, and so that means we're going to be probably talking to both our players, and I can't wait to hear from them. I really want to hear from David Keener, because like it's been so long since I talked to him. I mean, he may have been coming to events like, you know, throughout the past decade, but I haven't like personally had the chance to like see him in action, so it was really cool to see him back on the feature match stage. You know, coming second place in the World Championship. We both played at the World Championship. That's hard.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get even just into the World Championship, getting all the way to second place at the finals. You know, being one game away from that title, it's a whole lot of pressure. But the Fire Dragons have potentially taken it away from him one more time. At least only a draw this time, so we'll have to wait to see.
Yeah, I have to imagine when he saw his opponent play, he's like, dragons. Why did it have to be dragons? Not again. Please don't activate card destruction. Please, please. Oh, man, one of the most historic World Championship finals of all time. I mean, we've got to be there because it was in Las Vegas here in the United States. And I remember it like it was yesterday. An epic. I mean, the Worlds team we had that year was incredible. Some names that you like know: Steven Silverman, Patrick Hoban, Robert Boyajian, of course, the boy himself. I'll never forget him. He made top 8 as well. He was on stage. He had like the United States flag.
The shorts,
so
yeah.
It was beautiful. Unfortunately, he lost to another Dragon Ruler player who was like playing a 44 card Dragon Ruler deck.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, we were like, why is he playing 44? But as the years went on, we started adding more cards.
Yeah.
To the deck. We realized 44 might be that sweet spot where you're not playing too many and it's like just right.
I don't know if it's 44 exactly, but playing over 40 is definitely more reasonable when your entire deck searches itself.
Yeah, definitely, because you're not going to see multiple copies. Because now Yu-Gi-Oh! Has evolved. You have so many cards you don't want to see the redundancies of them, and definitely a way to go. But that's like neither here nor there. It's just awesome to see, Keener back in action. And yeah, don't discount Fransico. Both these players are from Pennsylvania. I do wonder if they've like played each other at regionals and stuff. Fransico said he just top-8'd the most recent Philly regional, which I think was the largest one they've ever had like 700 or something players. And now we're capped out this weekend. But I know you don't want to hear from me anymore, so let's go ahead and take it. Throw it away, Kangas. Let's hear from our 2 draw winners / losers of the round. Take it away, Kangas.
Thank you very much, Billy. I'm on stage with both Fransico and David. First off, congratulations on an incredible match. The audience was loving it. Everything was, we were waiting on the edge of our seat. And Fransico, I want to start with you because we have to hear from both of you. First off, Tempai Dragons. Explain why you wanted to play that deck, and then also, how does it feel to have such a close match?
Playing Tempai, it's still fun for me. It's challenging to, fight through all the corrections that were made to it. I did really well with it back home in Philadelphia, and I wanted to try to, convert some of that skill set. And what was the second question again?
And what did it feel like being up on stage in such a close match? The first game back and forth, it came down to time at the end.
Being in a feature match is amazing. I mean, it's nerve-wracking at first, but then the nerves turn into energy, and I get excited being able to perform in front of players. I love being able to entertain, and it's challenging in its own right, having to stick to the rules and the format of the feature match arena. So yeah, and that added up as far as time goes. So.
Well, you handled yourself well, so congratulations on that. Now, I gotta say, David, the Quackmere Draco coming down on the field. 2013, you were at WCS Finals. I believe that card was also played around that time. What was it like seeing that? Were you expecting it?
Well, I should have been expecting it, I guess. It's probably not that uncommon in there, but that was a backbreaker. I was hoping it wasn't coming for sure. So.
Well, it was a tie at the end of the day. How satisfied are you with that match, and what are your goals here at this YCS?
Yeah, it was a good match. It is what it is. I wish I could have played a little better in the second game, but it's been a while since I've been on the stage. I'm just trying to prove I'm not washed here.
All right, well, thank you so much. Congratulations, both of you. Again, once more, everybody, for an incredible match on the feature stage. We're going to throw it back over to the casters.